So I mentioned I was going to do a follow-up on the truck cap repair. I'm going to drill out a couple more rivets and replace them with screws. The original repair has held up well. I don't see any signs that it's moving, so I think I'm going to add another 6 screws. There'll be 4 across the top edge of the topper window assembly and 2 along the driver's side edge where there are currently rivets. In a moment I'll flip the camera around and show you the rivets and show you how we're going to deal with those. This is the back side of the rivet. It's, these are blind rivets that they put in. Just meaning, you can drill a hole through a thing, insert the rivet from one side, and pop the rivet with a rivet gun without having to have access to both sides. There's a piece of metal trim that normally covers this area, which I've removed to expose this so that I can drill out the rivet. This is the other side of that same rivet, and in a moment I'm going to drill it out. This is the second one on that side. I'm going to just do one at a time so that there's at least one supporting this side of the window assembly at all times. Drilling out rivets isn't really that complicated. You just need to select a large enough drill bit that will bite into the rivet and make sure that it's not so large that it's larger than the diameter of the hole that the rivet went through. The risk is always that you will tear off the cap of the rivet and spin the internal part and not drill it out completely. That's okay though, because if you rip off the face of the rivet, then you can punch it through with some other piece of metal and it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to go ahead and just start drilling. This is a 1/8 drill bit. It just so happens they're all going to be different depending on what your application is. Alright, well that one drilled clean through, no problem. I might need to enlarge that hole with a slightly larger drill bit because the screws that I have are number 10, and I don't think they'll fit in that 1/8. This is an inventory of the parts I'm going to use. These are some 1032 stainless socket cap screws, 3/4 inch long. It's similar to what I used on the original repair, except those were alloy steel instead of stainless, just because that's what the hardware store that I went to in the middle of nowhere had. Then there's some flat washers, so there'll be 1 on each side of the screw. Lock washers, just little split washers. That'll help keep the thing from backing off on its own during vibration. And some nuts that will be on there. As I thought, I needed a larger drill bit. I ended up with a 13/64, which happens to be the diameter that this number 10 screw will fit through. I did forget to mention one thing that's important when you're drilling out anything metal. Be careful about your eyes. Sometimes little scraps of metal, little flakes, little sharp shavings will shoot off from the drill, and you definitely don't want those in your eyes. Wear safety glasses or something else if you can to protect your eyes. In terms of some basic mechanical principles, if you're going to do something like this, you want to have a screw with washers on both sides of whatever it is that you're trying to sort of clamp together. That distributes the pressure and gives the ability for the head of the screw to rotate without messing up the surface of the thing that you're clamping, and gives the nut, and in this case the split washer, the ability to turn without digging in or messing up the surface of the thing we're clamping together. The split washer Just helps lock the nut in place without having to use Loctite or something like that. So there's the finished product. We've got the screw with its washer in on there, and on the other side the same thing. Well, a nut on the back with the split washer and the flat washer. So that's the basic process. Drill out a rivet and replace it with a screw.